What's going on, boys? How you doing, Ricky? I'm gonna get into it right now because I have somewhere to be in a bit, so I'm just gonna go through it quick. What's going on, boys? So obviously down day on the markets. Tomorrow is the inflation number. Next Wednesday is the Fed meeting. Next Friday is quad witching OPEX. So a lot of events coming up that can completely ruin the market or rip the market. What's up, Emilio, Optimist, Ginger, Raji? Today, as Bookie noted, a lot of low volume moves around everywhere. Look at SPY's volume compared to the last week. Not even half of what was a real sell. These were real sell days here. So today, what I gather from this information, what's up, Kevin? How you doing, Yash? What's up, Raji? So what I'm seeing from this volume alone is that into the inflation numbers tomorrow, not too many people want to hedge necessarily. It's just not too many people want to buy. So there wasn't many buyers today. There wasn't many sellers today, just based on the volume. It's just moving with the algos going into the inflation print. What's up, Rav? And other than that, I had two resistance supports. We caught this little bounce here, went up only to 60 cents. I was expecting a move straight to 468. We didn't get it, held them overnight. Let's see what happens in the morning. We're going to need a big gap up overnight to get paid on those. Obviously, small position. Lottos are all tiny. Doesn't really matter. Um, Other than that, let's see what happens tomorrow. It's all about this inflation number that's going to come out in the morning. If it's good, the market can absolutely rip. If it's in line, I don't think the market will react that much. I still think we'll go up. If the number is really bad, like way under consensus, then I think the market will dump. But other than that, we have to wait for the number to see. QQQ, much of the same. Same thing to watch tomorrow. Obviously, not a very bullish candle. There is a huge gap to fill down to 387. If the inflation numbers are bad, I would look for 387 as support on QQQ. Same thing with SPY. There is a gap to fill here. Don't let this little wick fool you. This is trickery by TradingView. There's a gap to fill all the way to 460 on SPY. So another 6 points down. So if the inflation numbers are really bad, look for those numbers. If they're really good, look for all-time highs. That's it. On SPY, all-time high would be 473.50. QQQ, same thing. If the inflation numbers are really good or under consensus, I think the market goes up and we're going to be looking at all-time highs all over again. XLF actually held up very well today comparatively to QQQ and SPY. We're just bouncing back up. It looks like a little bear flag. If we do break this flag to the downside, I mean, financials will be toast for a while. But if we keep rallying and get back into this range, I think we can get back into the range. People are running to safety today. Yesterday was all about value going to growth. Today was the exact opposite, growth going to value. So if you've seen this ahead of time, they wanted to trick you in the first place, right? Like, let's say you did research last week on the market and you were like, oh, inflation numbers, Fed meeting, quad witching, let's go into value names. So what they did was they ran up value names until yesterday. I'll go over those in a bit. They ran up value names until yesterday. People were like comfortable. People were getting, oh yeah, we did the smart thing. We're right. Then they dumped value yesterday, and then they took growth up yesterday. So everyone flipped from value to growth, and then today they did the exact opposite to screw everyone all over again. So this is just how I think about the market. Like, how can it screw over the most amount of people? It got everyone comfortable in their value plays like Home Depot, Lowe's, FedEx, those kinds of plays. And then yesterday they completely flipped the story. They took down Walmart, HD, and all that, and then they took out high growth names. And then today they flipped it again. So it's just a very tricky market this week. Like I said on Monday, the title of the video on Monday was Tricky Market, Play Small. And we got IWM here. It filled the gap to 220.69. Today's low was 220.49. So IWM has completely filled this gap, whereas QQQ still has a huge gap to fill and SPY still has a huge gap to fill. Get rid of this wick. Remember, it's just, I don't know why it's there. It's a trick. But IWM has filled the gap to the downside. If the inflation numbers are good or better than expected, I expect this to keep going up, especially with IWM filling this gap here. So let's see what tomorrow brings. I really can't predict anything. This week has been very, very tricky. And we need to see the inflation numbers and how the market reacts to them. The Dow was strong today. As I told you, the value names are coming back into play. People usually go back into those value names whenever there's a number that they're unsure of. And that's exactly what happened. Dow is just kind of flagging up here. So let's see if Dow continues here. It is kind of extended, but it was extended after a 4-day rip. But now it just went sideways 2 days, so it can continue higher. Keep an eye on the Dow. Major names on the Dow: UNH, Home Depot, Boeing, those kinds of blue chip names. the VIX here. So I told you we had a gap to fill all the way down here to 2096. I told you back here we gapped down, we went fill the gap, and today is just an inside day. So tomorrow on the VIX, if you're watching the VIX, there's two numbers you need to watch. Inside days, I told you guys. This is just the bulls and the bears fighting on the VIX. They don't know which direction to go. So if tomorrow we break over 2212, the market's going to go straight down. VIX is going to go straight up. If we break under 1994, the VIX is going to go down. The market's going to go straight up. So keep an eye on these two numbers here, 2212 and 2096. ES, you guys already know. We over know SPY. Here's the other charts here. All right, so we got SE. So we've hit SE maybe 4 or 5 times this week on calls. The reason I didn't take calls here where I usually would have, I got my price, but it was 2 o'clock on a Thursday when the calls expire on Friday. So I did not want to take $8 out of the money on SE with the inflation numbers coming up. If I took them at the end of the day here, they probably would have been a triple or 400% just based on this run. That's how premiums on SE move. That's why I love trading it so much. But there will be opportunities in SE in the coming days. Just let the inflation numbers get out of the way. I mean, you guys know we trade every single day. Why do we need to force trades every day? Let's wait for the right setups to start getting heavy again. Obviously, I'm still going to take small plays. Like, I hit them here and there. It doesn't really matter. But just stay cautious. Wait for the numbers. Wait for direction if you're going heavy or if you're taking swing trades. Right now, SE is just kind of sitting on top of this support that I have drawn here from somewhere. I think it was a 200-day or something from a while ago. But there's a support here, and it looks like it's just wiggling around. It closed one day below it, took out all the stops, got all the bears trapped, and then right back above it. Now we're just kind of going sideways. So tomorrow if we take out 263.43, which is the 8-day moving average on SE, we can get some continuation. But again, I'm not getting too bullish. I'm not getting too bearish. I need to see those inflation numbers, and I need to see how the market reacts to them first before starting going heavy in positions again. Home Depot, like Yash said, he's bearish, but I don't really know anymore. I mean, there's a bull flag. It was a breakout. It was a retest, almost a retest. And it's just kind of going sideways, getting ready for the next move up. So it could break down, come under this previous resistance, and then just completely flush. But also it could just retest it and rip. So 214.84 is still my number here. Was it 214.84? Yeah, so 414.84 was this high back here. And as you see how it reacted right here, it rejected it. Today it almost rejected it. Again, well, it did reject it. Went a little bit over right here. It closed just above it. Right here it closed just above it, and right here it closed well below it. So it's very struggling with that 414.84, 415 area. So just pay attention to HD, how it reacts around 415. I personally probably will not play puts on it again. The premium was just trash on my puts. It was a headache. I mean, we got a 10-point move down, and those puts didn't even go green. So that should tell you as much as you need to know, unless you're scalping it like Yash. Yash nailed it at the end of the day. But the premiums on swings, on puts, on HD is just, it's nasty. Walmart, absolute ripper. If I showed you guys SPY, this is the overall market, all right? You guys know what the S&P index is, the best 500 stocks in the market. And look at this. Why is this so weird? All right, so this is SPY. Made a high, came down, lower low, lower high, lower low, and dump end of the day. Look at Walmart. Lows at the beginning of the day, rode the moving averages all the way up all day, closed above the moving averages. If you go to the daily here, this is the part that gets me excited about Walmart. Look how it reacts off this support. This is the third time touching this support. Tap and went all the way to 152. Touch, 152. Touch, 152. I will probably roll these out. I'm not going to lie. If I get like 150, 200% on these Walmart 140 calls, I'll probably sell them and roll out to 150s for a month out or 2 months out. Because I do see this playing out. I don't see any weakness in Walmart as a company. They're a great company. People call them an inflation hedge. They're safe. And as you guys seen today, the market was dumping. Walmart was going straight up. So I like this one long term. Roku, just for options. I'm not investing in it. It goes way too slow for me. So Roku, yesterday we called it out 2:31 in the morning. We got that Google YouTube news. I bought equity at 2:31 pre-market. absolutely ripped yesterday. I sold 1/3 at like 257 or something. This morning, I seen it pulling back. I seen the rotation to grow value a little bit, so I just sold it right here at 255-ish. Right about here, 257, somewhere around there. I called it out in the group. And then afterwards, you just see train wreck. It gave back almost all the move from yesterday. Yesterday, we opened up at 236. Today, we closed at 235. So we literally gave back the whole play. And now there's a gap to fill all the way down to 220 on Roku. So if they do rotate back into growth, I do expect Roku to rip. But if they do not, we're going to come and close this gap to 220. Keep an eye on Roku, though. We could get some volatility there in the next week or so. T-Doc, absolute dump. Obviously, goes on the growth list, goes on the Kathy Wood list. Completely dumped today. For a 7% move to the downside, this is not enough volume. For a 7% move to the downside, I would expect a bar like this, like one of these bars. Like right here, it's down 5%, or right here, it's down 8%, and look at the volume. Today, it's down 7%. It's less than half that volume. So it's all just people not buying today, just worried about the inflation number. Other than that, I mean, there's no way to tell what's coming next. I'm telling you guys right now, you can listen to whoever you want, whatever you want. Right now, they're going into value. What if the inflation number comes good tomorrow? They're going to jump out of value so quickly and jump back into growth that you guys will not even notice it. Same thing, if the inflation numbers are bad, they might even sell off the value. They might sell off the growth and the value. Nobody knows, right? So we just have to react to what we see. Amazon here started the day so promising. End of the day is so not promising. But Microsoft, what I see on Amazon, again, the reason I jumped in the play, first of all, there's this little resistance that's very clear here. If we get over 34, 35, 43, 35, 45, I think it does make a move up to these highs here, 36.63 at least. But other than that, on Amazon, another reason I took it was just because, I mean, Facebook has been ripping for 4 days now. Obviously, week closed today, but it's been ripping 4 days. Microsoft has been ripping almost 4 days. Well, 2 days rip, 2 days sideways, but it's still bullish. Google has been ripping. Look at this, 4 days straight. Apple's been on an absolute tear. There's one more name in FANG, the original FANG, which is Amazon. And Amazon has been going completely sideways. Look at this. And we're just waiting for this one to catch up. It always plays catch up. When will it play catch up? Nobody knows. And the way they held premiums today was very, very weird. So those 37.50s I have for next week, I bought them at 460, I believe, yesterday. Today, when the price went lower in the beginning of the day, when the price went lower than where I bought them yesterday, with time decay of a day, and those options were still green. So that's what I mean about just reading premiums a little bit. Let's see what happens, honestly, because it's all about inflation tomorrow. But if there was no inflation numbers or anything tomorrow, I think Amazon would absolutely go nuts tomorrow. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm still holding those. Tesla's still holding those. Those 1100s were just very cheap. I think it was worth the bet. We have the 50-day moving average right here at $1,001. We closed just above it. So if they want to reverse Tesla, there's some power here. Buyers can step in at the 50-day. Look what happened last time we were at the 50-day. There was a huge dip to $950. We actually closed that day up 60 points from that low. So if we get another 60-point ripper tomorrow, we have 1100s. I mean, you know what I mean? But let's see what happens. That's all I can say. It's all about inflation numbers tomorrow, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. There's no predicting. There's no telling you what's going to happen. It's all about the inflation numbers. If they come in like disgusting, if they send the real numbers in tomorrow, the market's going to crash. They have to bake these numbers. And if they bake them well enough, I mean, the market can keep going. So just pay attention to those numbers. Be up bright and early tomorrow. Moderna here, I'm still watching this. Cool guy Ricky pointed out these January calls. I love it on the 200-day, how it's holding here. But right now, it looks like it wants lower. The thing I want is if it comes down to 264, you guys see I have an alert here at 267. If it crosses under, it's going to alert me. I'm probably going to jump in Jan 350 calls for around under 5. And if I get those fills, even one green day like this, you can ask Cool Guy Ricky. One green day on Moderna, on those leaps went from 550 to like 1050. So almost 100% in one day on these calls. You might have to sit through some pain, but Moderna premiums are like that. When it starts going, the premium goes up so fast, like it's a penny stock or something. So that's why I want January 21st, 350 calls for under 5. If I get those, I'm almost certain at one point before January, I will get 100% on those. Obviously, nothing certain in the stock market. We could break the 200-day and go straight down, but I will take my chances on this call just based on watching the premium move for the last year or so. Other than that, I mean, the whole market depends on the inflation numbers tomorrow. Make sure you're up on time. Don't wake up late and start asking questions. And thank you guys for attending. I'll see you guys tomorrow.